Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Looks like the mic is popping. Let's take that music down a bit. All right. So, it's been a minute. Haven't streamed in months and months and months. All right. Tonight's going to be a very special stream. We are going to be coloring a piece by Elliot Rodriguez, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle piece. Let's go ahead and let's get rolling here. All right, So this is the piece. Right here. Okay. So if we look at the quality of the image, we've got a relatively low resolution Twitter image that I saw in his feed. We can see some low spots from, obviously this is original art, so the ink is, you can definitely see that it's real ink, which is great. We are going to be doing some tricks. I have already prepared this, but I'm going to go through the whole process. So from start to finish. I do have a working file already started, but we're going to go start to finish. And maybe you might, if you don't know, we might learn something. So first off, what is our size? I color at 400 DPI. The reason I do that is because print resolution, you want it to be 300 DPI, right? At a minimum. And you're going to, original art's usually 11 by 17 or somewhere thereabouts. You're going to be shrinking down to comic book size or something of that nature. So having anything above 400, anyone who says you need, oh, it's got to be 600, man. For drawing, yeah, you want your line art to be crisp. If you're going to draw digitally, if you're going to scan it, you want to scan it at 600. But coloring is not necessary. You will not, your eye will not be able to discern the difference once it goes to print. There's no print device that is for like high volume like that where you would discern the difference. Now, some high quality dye sublimation printers, you might be able to tell the difference, but when it comes to typical offset printing that you would do for comics, you're not going to notice a difference. So right now, without resampling, if we bump it up to 400, it drops the image size to 3.7 by 5.2. But we're going to go ahead and use some generative upscaling. We'll use Topaz Gigapixel. And we'll do ×2. And let it work its magic. It's not going to be full 11 by 17. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be like somewhere on 9, I assume. But we shall see. Okay, so we're 7 by 10. So that's pretty much comic book size at 400 DPI. So there's not a lot of room to play as far as resolution's concerned. But if you look at the original to the generative upscaling, it's quite impressive, actually. It's pretty shocking, to be honest. Like what? Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to also eliminate these low spots by either doing some curves or levels. So we'll start with curves and see where we get. So our ramp here from light to dark, we can go ahead and right in the middle here, make an insertion point and drag this down towards the lows. So this sloping curve is going to increase the density. Let's see. Didn't do anything. Is it because it's still... Oh, I had the layer off. I'm like, it didn't do anything. Or did I have it off? Huh, what? Let me go ahead and merge this together here. There we go. Okay, because it was still, that's what it was. It was still a live AI layer. So it was not accepting input. So you can see this really long slope of like just dead value in the midtones area. So we're going to take this down. We're going to drag this down. You see how this fills in like that. All right, so now we've increased the saturation and density in the black area. Now what we're going to do is we're going to level out so somewhere right here in this is for the light areas, this part of the curve or the histogram. So just to wipe out any grays that showed up in the white area. Okay, so that's a pretty decent adjustment. So we're going to save as, and we are going to, I'll just save it on the desktop here. Actually, throw the working folder into my sidebar here. So this is, let's call this line art. All right. Now, another very important step is to, you want to separate, if you can, you want to separate out the black from the white. So right now, the line art itself, I didn't complete the save. The line art itself is combined with the white. So the black and the white are on one layer. So what we want to do is we want to make the white alpha 0 transparent. The way we do that is if we go over here to the channels and we look, we've got RGB channels. These are the 3 colors that make up this image. And we've got the RGB composite layer. If we control click on a PC, command click on a Mac, it will select all the pixels on the entire canvas, and it will select them with their transparency as well. So not only their black values, but their opacity based on grays. So the lighter from black something is, the more transparent it is. So when we go to fill this, it will fill it with the exact value of black that's in the selection. So we want to select inverse. So now, because we selected the white by doing that control or the command click on the RGB layer, we selected the white. We select inverse. We're going to create a new layer, and we're going to press D to make sure we've got black here. So our foreground color is black, and we're going to fill with the foreground color. Now this is transparent. So you don't need to set the line art to multiply just yet, but what that does is that gives us the ability to alpha lock the pixels in the line art by clicking this transparency lock. And then later on, if we needed to, we could just color the line art. So if you want to do a color hold, that's how you would do it. So once the white is knocked out of the line art, you now have the ability to alpha lock and paint the lines without any spillage. So it's completely painted and there's no overspill, and it respects its transparency or its gray values as on or off, black or white. So that's kind of a nice detail there. All right, so we have that. That's the original. I'm going to open up my working file here. I've already kind of prepared it. This one here. So the other day, I was in Liam's stream and we were hanging out and we were talking with the chat and talking with people on panel. And, you know, looking at the splattering in the background, I was thinking, what was Elliot's intent here? What was he trying to convey with this? It doesn't necessarily look like blood because they're not engaging anyone. Because before I start coloring, I want to think about where they're at, what they're doing, what's happening, what is the artist trying to get across. And from what I see here, this is definitely some kind of a splash or splatter, because there's cast off here, right? This is being cast off. Big blobs, small blobs. Now, it could just be a stylistic detail, but it also might have a purpose. So before I start coloring a piece, hey, what's up, Demon Vizrak? Before I start coloring a piece, what I always try to do is I try to create a scenario in my mind, right? What is happening in the scene? Where are they? And, you know, I started to think, well, they're not outside. The light is kind of intense, could be moonlight, but I think they're in a sewer. Like that tracks. It's the Ninja Turtles. So if they're in a sewer, then we're gonna have darkness, right? We're gonna have a bit of darkness behind them. So I need the background to be dark. But what is a splatter? And then we got to talking, and I'm like, mutagen. It's a mutagen splatter. Could be a mutagen splatter. So if you think back in history, what was the color of mutagen? Mutagen has been a few different colors over the years in Ninja Turtles. It's been green, glowing neon green. It's been orange, but it started out as a pinkish purple. So classic Ninja Turtles is pinkish purple mutagen. If you go and you look it up, you can see it's like it's almost magenta, but it's tinted towards purple. So that being said, went ahead and did the same thing, separated the splatter from the Turtles line art in front, and then alpha locked and filled with this purple color. I hate the pixel grid. Hold on. Pixel grid off. Okay. So now we have the splatter separated from the turtles in the foreground as mutagen now. So that's the beginning of our coloring story, right? The narrative in my head here. Now what happens to Elliot's signature? Well, it gets lost a little bit, so we fix that later. And once I apply the other effects. So with that, maybe some backlighting. I thought, like, okay, what would be cool? Give them some kind of a glowing, a neon glow behind them. So did a little bit of linear dodge. So now we've got this kind of energetic glow from behind them, illuminating the mutagen, which is kind of cool. And then I went with the toy collection skin types. So each one of them has their own skin tone. I used their wrap color to kind of colorize a detail on their weaponry. Except for Mikey, I left his wraps brown. But Leo, his handle of his katana or Ninjato, I believe it's called. Made that blue like his wraps. And then Raph, his handle is red. So that's our starting point. All right. So now we need to think about what is the artist indicated as far as light sources are concerned. Because it's important to know where the light's coming from, because that's going to advise literally every single decision you make going forward. So the inks are the key to understanding where the light is coming from. So by looking at where the shadow shapes are at and what direction the cross hatching is headed, because obviously it's going to track with the shapes themselves, we can discern how many light sources there are and from what direction those lights are coming and how intense they are. So you'll notice he's indicated right here, this shadow shape, as the turtle's head swoops back towards their mask. There's a little darkness, and then those pullouts coming up indicates that there is a strong light source coming from up above and slightly to the left. So for to kind of represent what that is, I'll get a bright yellow color, something really obnoxious here. All right, and create a new layer at the very top, because this is just going to be an instruction layer. All right, so our first light source is coming way off the canvas from up above, kind of down like this. As you can see, it's casting and it's creating these bright spots all over the main parts of the turtles, leading to these really strong shadows underneath all of the ambient occlusion areas where the muscles come together. You know, you see, and this is very telling here too. See this shape right here? It's angled this way because his chin, it's coming, well, it was going this way. It's coming down because the light is causing it to not descend straight. So that's light source number one. Light source number two, you can see these edges here? Smoothing, dang, smoothing at 0. Get rid of that. See these edges here where you've got a gap between the rendering and the shadow shape? So there's a gap, there's a gap, there's a gap here. These are all gaps. This is indicating reflected light. So this is underlighting that's coming from stage right. And it's everywhere. It's on all these things. So we can confidently say there is a second light source coming. Whoa, that's big. Coming from stage right. Okay. Now we also notice coming from the other side. Same phenomenon, same indication. We've got a rim light here. Boom, here. Same situation. So that means we've got another light source coming from off stage on the other side. So there is as many as 4 light sources, because you could reasonably say that I'm adding another light source just from my head canon of the mutagen from behind them. And so one light source back here, one coming down from up above, one coming from this side, and one coming from that side. So this is a relatively complex lighting situation. Okay. There are 4 lights. That's right. 4 turtles, 4 lights. What up, Chris? All right. So I did a really quick color sketch and just threw some just rough, not even cut. So I'm going to go with, you notice that the 4 turtles, they have 4 different color temperatures. Well, 2 different color temperatures, but 4 tones to them. So Raph and Mikey are both hot, warm colors. And Donnie and Leo are cool colors. So they are separated by a dividing line here. So we've got these 2 guys, they have cool colors. These 2 guys have hot colors. So I'm going to have, coming off this side of the stage, red, a red reflected light. And this side of the stage, a cool reflected light. So that's our setup. So there's mutagen glowing behind them. They've got a main light source up above, neutral tone, not warm, not cool, just neutral tone. And then we've got 2 reflected light sources, 1 cool, 1 warm. And that's what we're going to go with. So we'll turn those off and we can get rolling now. Now that we understand, we have a strategy, we've made a scenario in our minds, we now can move forward. So the lines, the turtle lines themselves are separated out. As you can see, they're on their own situation here. The mutagen is alpha locked behind them. And then the flats layer is back here for selections and for local colors. So what, just to explain, what is local color? Local color is just colorist lingo, color theory lingo. Local color is the actual color of an object before light affects the color, before light temperature shifts it cool or warm. So like if we just say generally, obviously there's many colors for these things, but let's just say apple is red. There's green ones or whatever, but let's just say apple is red. Fire engine is red. Banana is yellow. So those are the local colors of those fruit. Now, if you put a red light on a banana, well, the skin's going to tint orange. It's going to get warmer because it's being affected by ambient light or some sort of a light source. But these are our local colors of our turtles that we're going to be working with. And I've created a palette. I usually will do that for each one of the turtles and their accessories. You know, we've got like Leo here, we've got his mask, his skin, his shell, and his chest color. One of those for each one of the turtles. That way I can go back and refer to it in the future. Beckloff says, if you never read the IDW Turtle series, I highly recommend it. The hardcovers are great, are a great way to read them. It has all the tie-in stuff too in reading order, often on sale on Amazon. Great. That's awesome. That's good. That's a good suggestion. All right. So next thing we want to do is we want to create 4 folders. We're going to go Leo. This is my tour box. I have this fancy thing. It's called a tour box. It's a multi-key keyboard for drawing. So each one of those knobs does a different thing and it's fully customizable. I'm probably not going to use it for this at the moment, but there is one of its features is popping up every time I press a number, and we're going to turn that off. There we go. All right. Okay, so let's save what we did. I like to try to save frequently. So we've got Leo, we've got Donnie, we've got Mikey, and we got Raph. Hello? Open up another menu. Raph. Okay. So for each one of these folders, this is going to be containing all of their rendering. And I'm going to do it with a special rendering technique. This is called non-destructive coloring. It's called non-destructive coloring. So we're going to go ahead and fill in those. These are our lights. So we're going to group those. We're going to call them lights. Oh, hello. Can't type today. Lights. And we'll put the palette at the very, very top. We don't need that. Those are our signatures. We could probably take those down here. And this is our, should be mutagen glow. Mutagen? I don't know how you spell it. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. All right, let's turn off the palette. Okay. And then the lines for the turtles need to go above these folders, but below the lights. All right. So let's start with Raph, because he's in the foreground. Mutagen. Did I spell it right? Jen. Mutagen. There we go. All right, so we'll start with Raph. So first off, we're going to get our magic wand, and we're going to make sure we have no anti-alias because we want sharp selections. And we are going to turn off contiguous. Contiguous meaning connected. We don't want them to be connected. And we're going to go to our flats layer, and we're going to select his skin, and we're going to do I not have that action? I got a brand new MacBook and all my actions aren't set up. Damn it. All right, so we're going to Command J, and then we're going to lock the transparency, and we're going to put this in here. We're going to call it skin. And then I'm going to create a new layer, which is going to be a solid color. We're going to invert this mask. Actually, we'll delete the mask because we don't need it, because we're going to clip it to the skin layer. And then this, we're going to fill it out with his base color. And then we're going to call this shadows. And we are going to multiply like that. Yeah. Now let's see. How do we want... So I don't think we want to make the shadows too much more saturated. We're actually going to desaturate them slightly. We'll go like right about here. All right, let's put that mask back on and invert it. All right, so now we're going to be painting on the mask in order to reveal the shape of the forms. All right, so we're going to get a regular brush, soft round brush, no noise, just basic soft round. And we're going to take its opacity and its flow down to about 40%. And the way I color, I like to do cuts and grads. So that means making a lasso cut and then a gradient brush inside of it. Let's see. Let me catch up with chat. Hey, what's up, Adam? Scotsman, I am just about to head to bed. Saw you were streaming. Got stoked to see some comic stuff. Hope you and the fam are doing well. Miss you, man. Same to you, brother. Same to you. Hope you're doing well as well. It's good to see you. Let's see. And Beckloff says, I remember my dad loved the TMNT movie. Even as a kid, I could tell when he was enjoying a kid's movie he took me to, or just sitting through it for my sake. And he honestly loves the first Turtles movie. Yeah, I mean, dude, like it was great. It was great. So our coloring method, cut and grad. So we're gonna get the lasso. I like to, when I do cut and grad, I like to use anti-alias. All right, so our first selection is gonna be, we're gonna use the rendering as kind of our guide. Let's see what we get here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting with white on the mask to reveal the color of that solid color tile in multiply mode. Yeah. My brush was a little big. So, all right. Now, we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to reverse it. And we're going to add to our selection here. My brush appears to be repeating in a weird way. Looking for my blender. It's funny. So many of my brushes are not organized yet. When you get a new computer, sometimes finding where all your brushes are at after a hard re-import is like a nightmare. Because I literally have like 2,000 brushes, which, I mean, I usually go back in and delete ones that I don't use very frequently. But in this case, blenders, there we go. Okay, let's see about that. Use a mouse or a stylus. This is I'm working on a Cintiq. This will add a little bit of texture to it. I think what's happening here is always use pressure for opacity. See, maybe no. Let me look at my brush settings real quick here. It's not reacting quite how I want, so. Oh, there you go. All right, let's get rid of this texture. I wanted to do some texture, but maybe not. Now, never be someone who adheres to the sunken cost fallacy. If something isn't to your liking, start over. That's much better. Okay. The spacing was set at 25%, so I could see circles stamping. It was very subtle, but it was there, and it was really... wasn't what I wanted. All right, so now we've got the quadriceps up here. All right. And we're going to free ball it a little bit here. Add a little bit of tone up near the body. Now, the beauty of doing it this way on a mask is if you don't feel like that tone is just right, you can always just open up this and then globally shift whatever that tone is. I don't want it to get too dark. But I think I want it a little bit darker. Yeah. All right, same sort of thing. We need to go back onto the mask. And because we are alpha locked to that layer, and we are only coloring on that skin, it doesn't notice I can't color on anything outside of that color tile because it is locked to that shape. Now, this leg is going to be a little bit darker here because it's hidden from the light source. So we're going to increase the intensity a little bit here. And when I color, I like to see both hard shapes and soft shapes. So we're going to do this. Add to the selection. do one more. Okay. And so this quadricept, we're gonna so we've got one quadricept that's here. This is the inner quadricept. And this is the middle quad. And this is the outer. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna make this whole selection here. Because you see how it's forked right there? This little fork. This line leads to the middle quad. And then this is that's the tip of the middle quad meeting the inner quad. Let's see, let's take our opacity way down here. Because I only want to just barely indicate it a little bit. We're going to select inverse. Keyboard shortcuts. Oh, come on. I cannot stand those tooltips. Tools. There we go. What am I doing here? There it is. Okay. It's not the right smudger. Let me see here. Looking for a very specific smudge brush. Man, I need to go through and clean out my brushes. There are just way too many. I literally can't find anything. Oh, there it is. Now I gotta place it in a folder. Oh my God. trying to drag a brush all the way to the top, and it's like all the folders are twirled down. Unreal. This is so frustrating. My brushes are on another screen, otherwise I'd show you. Almost there. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Holy crap. All right. It was worth it. 40%. Now we're at 20. There we go. That's the smudger I was looking for. I'm going to take some of these hard lines down just a touch. So I want some of them to show, but others not so much. There we go. That works. All right, so now we're going to don't know why that key command's not working. Okay. Just going to soften up some of these transitions with the smudge tool. But I do want to maintain some of those hard lines because that's where the flavor's at. Okay, let's move up here now. And granted, this is the first time I've colored live in probably a year. I'll get faster. Remember, we're using Elliot's rendering as our guide to indicate where the light is coming from and how intense it is. Cuts and grads. Hopefully you're enjoying the musical selection. I made a bunch of my own music on 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 Suno. Hey, what's up? Reading tweets. The Kung Fu tortoises. That's right. Tortois. What's going on, man? How's BC treating you? Retail's broken, as one would expect. Everything's broken. The pre-patch is broken. It's quintessential Blizz. You know. All right, so let's make this selection all the way over here. TBC pre-patch, just fine. I don't know what you're talking about, it's just fine. Add a little bit extra shape here. Why is my keyboard shortcut not working? Oh, did I? Oh, because I put the wrong keyboard shortcut because I'm dumb. Because I'm dumb. It's supposed to be N. There we go. N. There we go. Look at that. Wow, how fancy. All right. I don't want to be too high up on the muscle because the light's going to be coming from this direction, from left to right. It's going to be hitting that. Can finally be a real boy prop paladin. Isn't that special? All right, so let's analyze the planes here. Okay. So Ninja Turtles have two main fingers on their hands, right? And then their thumb. So imagine that should be a plane. We'll respect that. Yeah. I think we're gonna stick to purely the rendering on that. Yeah. Then and do this and come outside of it. We're gonna be doing some smudging here, I can tell you right now. Yeah. All right, let's do some smudging here. Want to maintain some hard edges though. That's where the flavor's at. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Let's add to that selection. Do the same here. All right. Music's not too loud, is it? It's not overpowering my voice. Gotta assume it's not. All right. It's a Magus level crotch. That's a pink overalls, blade, sunglass wearing, mullet having, Tercel driving crotch shot. Pre-worn. Yeah. All right. So we can assume that there's going to be a little bit of a overlap shadow from the shell casting over here. So we're going to round that out. Add it to this. Sternocleidomastoid's completely hidden. Soften that up just a little bit. Didn't want it to go over into the chin area. Okay. Give it a save. Let's take a look at our I'll clip that as well. Does it need to be darker? Take it easy, bed. I think it still needs to be relatively neutral. Or is this gonna get muddy? But I do think it needs a little bit more. Okay, so this one, we are going to turn this on and we are going to fill the mask with black, and we're going to set this. Let's see, do we want screen or linear dodge? Let's see which one works better. Let's go linear dodge to start with. And we're going to, right in the middle here, we're going to put a little highlight band. Skip says, nice hat. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. I agree. All right. That's the worst. Well, we all kind of have good taste. It's fine. What's up, Skip? How you doing? Nuked your Twitter? What? What'd you nuke your Twitter for? You getting too spicy or what? Oh, getting... Are you joining law enforcement? I mean, don't answer that. It's getting real cold up in here. Oh, talking to publishers. Let's see. You had me in my head canon going, Skip's about to get... He's about to be a cold one. He's about to be a cold ass honky. Want to make a legit comic. Nice. I love it. This one was 1. Oh, it's at 100% strength. I'm like, why is it pushing the pixels so hard? That would be why. All right, let's get back into carving some shadows here. Imagine the form here in my mind. So the front edge here. 40% is too intense. I have a little bit of, damn it. give that a save. It's kind of zoning out. Haven't said anything in like 10 minutes. If you're out there and you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Really would appreciate it. Share it out there. Out in the wild of the interwebs. Take this intensity down a little tiny bit. Oh, it's some gray. I'm like, what is that mark right there? It's part of the line art. All right. Okay, so we can, I wouldn't call Raph done, but he's getting close. Let's go back to the highlights here. We need a reverse highlight right here. Too sharp. Let's pull that a little bit. Oh, that is all highlight, okay. All right. All right, let's go on to Donnie's skin here. We'll twirl Raph up. Go on our flats layer. Magic wand. Yep. Lock that transparency. All right, now we need a solid color. Oops. There we go. What is our blend mode? It's linear dodge, right? Yeah. I didn't even try screen. Linear dodge is almost always better in every way. All right. So get a thing here. a good amount of shadow. All right, invert that mask. That's a good amount. Probably needs to be brighter. Yeah. Brighter, less saturated for that color. All right, let's invert that mask. Remember, we're doing non-destructive coloring. That way, at any time, you could go back in and say, you know what? I want this to be cooler. Or I want it to be warmer. Or whatever. Non-destructive. All right, let's lay in some shadow shapes on the hand here. Using Elliot's rendering as our guide. Go 40%. Can't tell, I'm a fan of retro games and retro 80s retro shit. I made all this music on Suno. Might not be dark enough. Yeah, it's probably better. It's too dark. Too saturated. Right about there. All right. So that's a shadow from the hand. So we'll fully respect the intensity of those lines. I'm going to narrow this up near the middle of the mask there. Come down a little bit. Like free ball a little bit here. Want some hard edges in there. All right. I think this needs to be more intense right here. blend this up. Should be rim lit. I'll leave the lines there. All right, let's put a few highlights. Probably gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. Oh, we didn't do the leg. There's no rendering on the leg, but we can reasonably assume that you're gonna have some sort of cast shadow due to the shape. Something to that effect there. Same. Something like that. He's gonna shoulder muscle indicated here. A little curve. So I missed a sliver. Just smooth this transition out here. Push it back just a touch. Yeah, I want that to be okay. Highlight time. Let's see what we got. Go with oh, it's a normal mode. Shit. It's much hotter. Tasteful thickness. What's up? Can I draw feet? Yes, I can draw feet. Am I going to draw feet right now? No. Welcome. It's true. Are you rocking out to 16-bit for sexy gradual? I made a bunch of AI music on Suno. It's for streaming, and because you'll get copyright struck or whatever for music, so. And it's a general playlist of all kinds of stuff. Some 8-bit sounding pixelated stuff. Or 16-bit. Some power metal, some hip hop. Bro, in some image programs you can use an 8-bit or 16-bit color depth. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I'm running an 8-bit. I thought you were talking about the music. Yeah, I don't color in 16-bit because it increases your file size by like double. Yeah, it's a setting in Photoshop too. Under image, mode, 16 bits per channel. So I run 8 bits per channel. Also fucks with the color wheel. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the flats layer. I'll select Mikey here. Oops, not Command K, Command J. Lock transparency. I need to remake my Photoshop actions that have all that shit. Skin. All right, let's fill these gradients. And all right, for his highlight, he's already bright. Ever see Mark Silvestri's Joker Deadly Duo comic card? It's insane. Not off the top of my head. I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, so that'll be the highlight color. Let's see. I think with Mikey we want to go. I don't want to go saturated. That might be too dark. That's probably about right. All right, invert that mask. Get a save. Time is it 1:30? We'll go for a little bit longer. Just a bit. Print, flatten. Not a terminologist. It's hard to believe this is AI music, to be honest. Was that the whole playlist? Oh wow, I guess it was. It's wild. Throw on some board at my grandma's house. Get your bop on. Looks like gave me penis cancer. Oof. Sounds serious. Turned up a bunch of layers. That was weird. So I accidentally hit the key command for merge down. Wow. You boy out there getting tired. Sacrificed it all. Oh wait, no wait. What did you say? He died for your brush pen. Oh, focus. Do it for Jesus. Oh, I gotta read up and up and up. Yeah. Coloring for the Lord. That's what I'm doing right now. The thing is I have a big customer coming into work tomorrow, and I gotta be in the office about an hour earlier than I normally am. I'm going to be late. Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to lay in... Oh, got to do the leg. Shadows in the leg. I'm going to lay in Mikey's highlights, and then I'm going to call it. Try to get this leg rendered. It's literally just a couple of shadow shapes down here. All right, let's lay in some highlights. Might be too much. Okay. I think that's some pretty solid progress for tonight. We've been streaming for what? 2 hours? 2 hours 40? All right. I think I'll call it here for the night. I'll post an update on Twitter. Thanks for hanging out, Chad. Appreciate everybody. If you would like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And I will probably be live tomorrow, possibly to finish this up. So appreciate you hanging out, and I will see you guys later. As soon as I find my end screen. All right, see ya.